All right, now we're doing W3Schools HTML tutorial, HTML attributes. So HTML attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. All HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in the start tag, and attributes usually come in name-value pairs like name equals value. All that is true. All right, so now we're talking about the href attribute. The A tag or anchor tag defines a hyperlink. The href attribute, let's say that again. This href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. Okay, so here's an example. There's the anchor tag, and then we got the href equals this link to W3Schools, and then the words are going to be this. All right, so let's try it ourselves. We've got all that stuff, pretty much what we had, plus this sentence and this H1. But we click on this, and boom, it goes straight to that site. All right. So we're going to learn more about this in our HTML links chapter right here. All right, cool. So the source attribute, the image tag, is used to embed an image in the HTML page. The source attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed. All right, so here's the example. This is the image tag. We've got the source is image girl JPEG. So let's check it out right there, and there it is right there. We got the height, width, and everything, the width, height, whatever. So there are two ways to specify the URL in the source attribute. So there's the absolute URL, which links to an external image that is hosted on another website. For example, source equals this image right here. All right. Notes. External images might be under copyright. Yeah, that's something that's pretty important when you're making stuff like this. When you're making stuff for money, you got to know what's copyrighted and what's not. If you do not get permission to use it, you may be in violation of copyright laws. Yes. In addition, you cannot control external images. That's true also, because it can be subtly removed or changed because somebody else controls it, obviously. So there's also the relative URL, which links to an image that is hosted within the website. So it's in the website already, so it links. So if it's a, hopefully you get what I'm talking about. Anyway, here the URL does not include the domain name. If the URL begins without a slash, it will be relative to the current page. For example, source, this right here. All right. If the URL begins with a slash, it will be relative to the domain. For example, this right here. I don't really know what that means. Relative to the page. Okay, so it's linking it from the page, I guess. And then this one's linking it from this images file on the site. All right. Yes. So tip, it's almost always best to use relative URLs, of course. They will not break if we change domain, and also we control them, absolutely. All right, so now we're on to the width and height attributes. Man, should we be breaking these down into like one video per segment? Because this is a lot of reading. Anyway, let's keep going. The image tag should also contain the width and height attributes, which specify the width and height of the image in pixels. All right, cool. So we've got the image source, image girl, JPEG width is 500, height 600. Let's check it. Looky there, just like that. Let's change it a little bit though. See what we got. Up, no. And then run it. Not 500. Come on now. 250. Now run it. All right, cool, awesome. So we can do that. Let's go back to this. So we did that, and now we're on to alt attribute. So the required alt attribute for the image tag specifies an alternate text for an image if the image for some reason cannot be displayed. All right. So this can be due to a slow connection, an error, or anything, honestly. So if the image isn't displayed, this alternate text comes up. We've seen this before. So example, this right here is the good one. Boom, normal. And then here's the bad one. Try it ourselves. It comes up here, girl with a jacket, just like the alt text reads. All right, cool. So we got that done. We can learn more about that in the images chapter, which is right somewhere. Anyway, right here. The style attribute. So the style attribute is used to add styles to an element, such as color, font, size, and more. So we're going to do like something like style equals color, red. And this is a red paragraph, and this should turn it red. So let's check it. Yes, we've got a red paragraph right here. All right, so let's go back over here. And then we're going to learn about that in the styles. There's styles somewhere around here. All right, cool. So the lang attribute. We should always include the lang attribute inside the HTML tag to declare the language of the web page. Oh my God, I read that awful, but we're not going back. This is meant to assist search engines and browsers. The following example specifies English as the language, all right? So because they put in right here, that means it's going to know it's English. Country codes can also be added to the language code in the lang attribute. So the first two characters define the language of the HTML page, and the last two characters define the country. So the following example specifies English as the language and United States as the country. All right, so just like that. So we can see all the language codes in the language codes reference. So this is actually a different reference. It's not a link to one of these. So that's going to be like right here. All right, cool. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on there too. Awesome. So let's go down here to the title attribute. So the title attribute defines some extra information about an element. The value of the title attribute will be displayed as a tooltip when we mouse over the element. All right, cool. So here we've got the title, I'm a tooltip, and this is the paragraph. All right, so let's try it ourselves. I'm a header, blah, 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 blah. So let's mouse over the paragraph. I'm a tooltip. Anyway, joke's over. So now we're on to some suggestions. They suggest always use lowercase attributes. So the HTML standard does not require lowercase attribute names. The title attribute and all other attributes can be written with uppercase or lowercase, like title or title, lowercase, uppercase, obviously. However, W3C recommends lowercase attributes in HTML and demands lowercase attributes for stricter document types like XHTML, whatever that is. At W3Schools, we always use lowercase attribute names. Gotcha. So here's another suggestion. Always quote attribute values. So the HTML standard does not require quotes around attribute values. However, W3C recommends quotes in, so it's the same as the other sentence. All right, cool. So here's a good one right here. It has the quotes. Blah, blah, blah. Bad one. No quotes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Sometimes we have to use quotes. This example will not display the title attribute correctly because it contains a space. This one right here, because there's a space here, and so this one turns red. Let's try it ourselves and look what happens. About W3Schools, let's do the tooltip over the. Okay, so see how it says about instead of about W3Schools. So that's where we would need some quotes. All right, so we're just going to always do it. W3Schools always uses quotes around attribute values. I didn't know that we didn't have to, but we're going to keep doing it anyway. So single or double quotes. Double quotes around attribute values are the most common in HTML, but single quotes can also be used, and that's what I'm going to be using because you don't have to use a shift key with that. In some situations, when the attribute value itself contains double quotes, it is necessary to use single quotes. So right here, John Shotgun Nelson. All right, perfect reason to use these instead of these, just so this is always available. All right, and then we've got this the other way. All right, cool. Let's try it ourselves. John with double quotes, John Shotgun, John with single quotes, John Shotgun. All right, cool. Awesome. So now we're on the chapter summary. All HTML elements can have attributes. The href attribute of anchor tags specifies of the anchor tag, whatever, anchor element, let's call it that, specifies the URL of the page the link goes to, okay? The source attribute of the image element, specifies the path to the image to be displayed. The width and height attributes of the image element provide size information for images. The alt attribute of the image element, provides an alternate text for an image. The style attribute is used to add styles to an element, such as color, font, size, and more. The lang attribute of the HTML tag declares the language of the web page. Gotcha. The title attribute defines some extra information about an element. All right, cool. So there we go on that. Now we've got some exercises. We're going to test ourselves with exercises. Let's just start the exercise because I already know its title. I already typed it in there. Forgot to untype it. Whatever, doesn't matter. So here we are. Add a tooltip to the paragraph below with the text about W3Schools. All right. So before, when we did the tooltip, we've got it right over here. We did something like this. I'm a tooltip. This is a paragraph, and right in front of it, title. So let's come over here to the exercise, and right in front of this, title. Submit the answer. Look at that. All right, so that's 1. Now we're on 2. Let's go to the next one. Select the size of the image to 250 pixels wide and 450 tall. So 250, right like that, and then 400 after pushing tab to go to this one. Submit it. Looks good. All right, let's go to 3. Make the element below into a link that goes to this right here. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? I know. href equals. How about that? And then they already have this in quotes and all of that. Let's submit it. Looks good. And let's try it again. Let's do the next one, I should say. Specify an alternate text for the image. Alternate text is useful when the image cannot be displayed, like when the page is read by a screen reader. Cool. So image source, w3schools.png. We've got the quotation marks around it. This right here, alternate text. Alt. Boom, just like that. Submit it. Looks good. Let's go to the next one. The next one's in the next chapter thing we're going to do. So we're just going to come right on back over here. And we're done with that. 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 All right. We just did this HTML attribute reference. So a complete list of all attributes for each HTML element is listed here. Let's open it up. And that's a big list. Is it all of them? Who knows? Maybe them, maybe not. But that's the end of that. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next time we're going to be doing HTML headings, and we'll see you next time.